Welcome to Indiana Winters, folks. Today we've got this nice big chunk of maple burl, a lot of ambrosia. There is a lot of punky wood in here. The customer wants at least one big bowl. So I'm gonna try to leave most of this untouched. The idea right now is to try to leave a big platter, maybe a little box, big platter over here, maybe a box or something like that off these end cuts. You can see this burl's been sitting for about a year, they said. So got a lot of splits, a lot of cracks. Some of them look fairly deep. So I don't know what we're gonna get into when we start cutting this. I'm thinking right now, I'm gonna cut off a good 2, maybe 3 inches off the top of this and maybe be able to use some epoxy to fill in these cracks and crevices. That's the plan right now. So first thing I'm gonna do is grab my chainsaw and just cut a slice down the top. Lot of figure, holy cannoli. Okay, so that's gonna be the base. Burl cluster, burl cluster, burl cluster. Yep, this will be the top. Let's get this piece inside. Actually, let's get both pieces. Still got plenty of room to work with here for a nice big bowl. I want to include both of these burl clusters here. First thing I'm going to do is just get a rough idea of my diameter with the calipers, roughly that. I do have a little offcut here, so that'll probably be my center. And if that's my center, I've got both of those burl eyes working in the base. Good, I can see kind of where they come here. A little bit narrower on this side of the board. I might be able to get a couple little things out of here and here. Maybe one blink out of there. We'll see. Seeing that this is really nice wood, I want to try to get the most out of it as possible. So we've definitely got maybe some snowmen here, or boxes, or maybe little dishes, you know, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to burn any of the chunks of this stuff because it is gorgeous wood. Find our center mark, drill a little hole. Now the reason why, for those of you curious, that I chose this to be the top, couple reasons. Number one is where more splits are. So hopefully the goal is to turn a lot of those splits out, and the ones that are there, you know, we can fill in with epoxy and it'll just minimize the splits a little bit. And secondly, it's because all this figure is trapped down here at the bottom. A lot more figure at the bottom than there is on the top. So where your highest amount of figure is, that's what you want on the bottom, because that's going to be the most amount of wood left over at the end. So we want to highlight that figure, not turn it away. We want to try to turn away these splits, minimize those, and highlight the figure at the bottom. Just realized you haven't been able to see 90% of what I was doing. Okay, well, look at there. Tell me that's not gorgeous. And it was at this point that my phone died, and I didn't realize that I was no longer recording. So we're going to move forward in the process. Essentially what I've done now is just finish the shape of the exterior, and I have now noticed that there was some fairly significant splits, which we knew were going to pop up. But I used this opportunity to draw inspiration from an old Japanese art form called Kintsugi. Kintsugi is a practice of repairing broken items, usually ceramic teapots, using gold. It's typically regarded as being better as a result of the repair. It's a highly sought after, highly prized art form. So I'm using this to lean into the cracks. Instead of trying to hide the splits, we're going to highlight the splits.
This was a nice one.